Good morning, welcome to our Friday session, Pilates stroke Pilability. So if you're joining us, do what you can. We're going to run through a variety of movements today, so just see how you get on. So we're going to start in standing today. So come into our feet together, toes out, and then heels behind your toes. And bear with me, it's been a bit of a busy morning already. So we're going to soften through the knees, pull those muscles in the belly in, and we're just going to take those shoulders back and down. And just breathe. So we're going to start rolling through those shoulders, rolling back and down, sending those hands behind you and down. So pushing the shoulder blades down, rolling up, back and down. And if we've got a lovely bit of plinky plonky music, that would be great. So just really taking your time here, nothing too fast, just feeling that movement right the way through that circle. So forwards, up, back and down. And again. And we're going to make that movement a little bit bigger. So all the way forwards, all the way up to the ears, right the way back and down. Settle the hands there and then go again. So all the way up, all the way back and down. Good. And keep it going. Breathe, use your breath. Keep those knees soft. Bottom tucked under. And last one. Okay, we're going to think about posture. So stand, relaxed hands, and imagine that piece of string pulling through the crown of the head all the way up. And just breathe. Pull the muscles in the belly in, tuck the bottom under, tighten through the pelvic floor, and then we're going to come into that pelvic tilt. So pop your fingers on your pelvis and just tilt, and then tilt the other way. So we're tucking under and then back. So really softening those knees here, feeling that big movement, and I'll show you from the side. So tucking under and then back. So feeling it in the spine maybe in the fronts of the hips, but really working through that tilt. Lovely. Squeezing the pelvic floor as you pull through and releasing as you drop back. So squeeze here. Keep breathing. Try not to hold your breath. And just taking our time here to get some movement through the pelvis. Okay, hands come on the hips and we come into our little hula hoop movement. So starting small, nice and small, slow and gentle. Knees are soft, so bend through those knees. And then we make that movement a little bit bigger. So taking your hips right to the side, to the back, to the other side. And then we're going to reverse direction. So you should feel that right through into the hip socket, into the hip joint, as you send the hips sideways. Lovely. And reverse again. That's it. So just taking our time today. Excellent. And then hands come down, feet come a little bit wider, working through the spine laterally. So leaning, pulling up and resetting, dropping the shoulders, sliding one hand, lifting the elbow of the other side, come into center, reset, and slide. Keep that breath going regularly. Try not to hold it, and just feel that stretch. Up the side seams, into the waist, into the ribs maybe. Pull that elbow up. Pull, lovely. And then we're going to change slightly. So one hand comes down the thigh and the other slides up. So a diagonal movement. That's lovely. So you might feel this on the top of the pelvis, at the back, and into the front of the hip. Lovely, and then let's swap sides. So just sliding the hand down the other leg and up the side, the back side of your body on the opposite side. So sliding and dropping. Lovely, take your time. Excellent. Okay, and feet come hip width apart and come into that lovely rock movement. So we're going to just take our weight onto the balls of our feet and then onto the heels, lifting the toes, keeping that long spine, neutral spine. And then if you want to start lifting the heels, coming up onto the balls of the feet a little bit more, onto the tiptoes, you can, rocking back. So really bracing those muscles in the core to keep you steady. Okay, lifting the toes. When you're up on your toes, weight through the big toe and the second toe. You take your arms out if you're wobbly. I can see some of you wobbling. Take your arms out to balance. It's really good to challenge your balance, but honestly, the weight through the big toe, second toe will create that stability in your ankles. Whoop. And if you don't, that's what happens. So, and lifting the toes here is really good to build strength through the fronts of the ankles. If we don't do that, then our feet, as we get older, we lose that flexibility, that strength, and that's when we find our feet dragging on the floor. So keep going. Whoop. Good. That's it. Lovely. Excellent. And then we're going to come into a bit of balance. So I want you to take one foot in front of the other, directly in front of the other. Squeeze the thighs together and just hold. So you're in like on a beam. Use your hands and just grow tall. So tuck your bottom under. Use your arms to just balance. Tuck the bottom under, pull the muscles in the belly again. Relax the shoulders. And then we just start to take the weight forwards into that front foot. Lift the heel. And then take the weight back. Lift the toes. So we've just prepped the feet, the ankles. And you might be really wobbly at first, but hopefully proprioception, your brain, is kind of saying to you, what are you doing? It's a bit early to do this, but then it soon finds what the body's doing, the muscles get used to it, your brain gets used to it, and hopefully you'll be a bit steadier. If not, hold on to your windowsill. Or practice balance. The only way to challenge your balance, to improve your balance, is to challenge. So doing small movements in a controlled fashion is really excellent for balance. Okay, and step wide. We're going to change feet. So the other foot's going to come forwards now, come in front, little gap, tiny gap between the toes and the heel. So just settle and just hold, which is harder, I think. Soften through the knees. Find a point, a spot to focus on. Sometimes that'll help you. If you're watching me on the screen and I'm wobbling, then that's going to make you wobble. So sometimes it helps to find a spot on the floor. And again, use all those coaching points. So tuck the bottom under, squeeze the thighs together, pull the muscles in the belly in, up and in. Okay, remember, like towards the diaphragm. And breathe, relax the shoulders. One side, this side for me is worse than the other. Okay, and then we're going to start to move. So forwards, lifting the heel, settling back, lifting the toes. Coming forwards, lifting the heel, and back. And because we're super slow, we get super wobbly, which is all good fun on a Friday morning. I keep thinking it's Monday. So keep going, lift the toes, lift the heel, lift the toes, and lift the heel. Lovely, good. And then step wide and out. And just march it out, shake it out or march it out. And then just a little circle with the knees. So coming down, hands on the thighs, and we just circle through the knees. One way. That's it. So hinged from the hips, and then reverse direction. So the whole weight is through both of your feet evenly, and then reverse again. Have you got any crunches going on? Crunch, crunch. Lovely, okay. And then we're going to move to our broomstick. So grab your broomstick. So Let me just check my heater, because I think I've just turned it off, but I might have turned it higher. Oh yeah, turned it to 5. Okay, so melting. I've got a little bit of a crooked stick here, can you see? It's a bit wonky, a bit like me today, a bit wonky. So let's take our hands to the outside edges of the broomstick, of our lovely stick. And we're just going to bring our hands forwards to shoulder height and just drop down. So just small movements to start with. And just let it rest on your thumb. And I'm just going to come sideways. I've got a big microphone in my backside. That's it, so shoulder height and lower down. So just working through the shoulders and then adding an inch higher. So just taking it an inch higher each time, if you can. If not, stay with that, stay with shoulder height. Whatever you can do, whatever you can manage comfortably. Sometimes it helps to just add a little bit of tension to pull on the pole stick. What should we call it? We'll call it, I don't know. I don't like to call it a broomstick, because you know what that means. We're all witches, so, and we're not. So how high can you go comfortably? Up, brace. Now remember, because we taught this in front of you, didn't we, in the garden? We were face to face. So remember about keeping the spine and the bottom tucked under, so without losing that lovely tension through the core and through the spine. So keep the bottom tucked under, which stops that sticking out the bottom. Lovely. And keep breathing, so try not to hold the breath. Excellent. Now, can you remember what we did? We took it behind, or let's take it behind, and then just hold and relax the shoulders. And this gives us a lovely chest opener. And our palms, so can you see my palms are facing up? I can't quite see your hands, so palms are facing up, and we're just settling. And just take the hands, walk them in a little bit so you can kind of touch your thigh, your bottom. So here, so walk them in if you can, if you have that range of movement in the shoulder. If not, you might need to stay slightly wider. And then we're going to roll those shoulders again. So you can't really bring them forwards, can you? So we're focusing on lifting up, sending them back, and then send that pole down. Send it down. Relax, release, lift the shoulders up. Send the shoulders down, push that pole down, and again. So really feel that pole pushing down at the end of the movement, which gives you a super stretch at the front and the top of the shoulder. Hopefully it's not painful, it's controlled, and it's only what you can do. Okay. Now take it out. If you can take it behind your head, and then just allow your hands, so find that position that works for you. Sometimes wide is good, sometimes closer in is more comfortable. Chris, if you can't manage it, then take it in front of you here. We're just looking at trying to get some more movement through the shoulder, some rotation. And just relax here. So we're not doing much moving here. We're just going to settle, tuck the belly, tuck the bottom under, pull the belly in, and then just send the wrists forwards. So you're twisting the hands. Let me see if I can get a close up. So where are we here? So you can see my hand. I'm going to go send it forwards and then backwards. So it's a small movement, forwards. And that will, you should feel that into your shoulders, you might feel it into the elbows, into the wrists. So it's a tiny movement, but it just adjusts through the shoulders. That's it. Keep going, or just leave your hands there, just rest on there is such a good movement. It's opening out the chest, it's opening out the shoulders, it's squeezing through the shoulder blades, but without a lot of tension. Okay, and then take that bar off and over, and we're going to send it in front of us. So it's in front, and we're going to just step back a little bit, and I want you to hinge from the hips, okay? So it's a hinge, it's not a round through the spine, it's a bend from the hips. So send the pole away, and then we just take it side to side. Ooh. And just work through that movement. You might feel it pinching in one area. Either stop at that point, or if it's not too uncomfortable, see where you can get to. So, lovely, across the midline of the body. So take it slowly. If you'd rather bend your knees, you can. Bend those knees, stick your bottom out. So we've got a neutral spine. We never have a straight spine. A neutral spine, so really focus on that. So it might mean that you're pulling the belly in to protect your spine. So you can see that my hand is on top. It's resting on top of the pole. So I haven't got any pressure through my hand. My palm is facing down. That's it. Lovely. Good. And just notice those niggles. Where can you feel it? So I can feel it here, here, and I'm just going to go a bit further, and then it's fine. So sometimes not working through pain, but working through that tightness, that discomfort, can just give you that extra bit of mobility. Okay, let's swap sides. So come up to standing and just shake off your feet. And then we're going to swap sides. So take that pole away again. Take a step back and then hinge from the hips. Bend the knees again. And then we start to just make small movements. Side to side. Side to side. Lovely. And again, one side might be better than the other. You might need to come in a bit closer if you've gone a bit too far. Rest your other hand on your thigh if it's easier. And then start to just push through those edges of the movement. So taking that arm across maybe, and then all the way out. And across. Really taking your time. What can you feel? Any niggles on this side? Any crunchy bits? Are you better this side? Are you tighter or more painful, more uncomfortable? Or are you quite even? Lovely. And just a couple more. Excellent. Good. And then come up and pump those heels. Have a breath. Okay, so we're going to take hold of the pole again, and we're going to come into our figure of 8. So we'll start with the figure of 8. So one hand comes up and over, and when we get to the side, we swap and we bring it across the body. So it's like you're rowing. So, ooh, and mind the wall. Or your bed, or your windows. So it's a flowing movement. So we've warmed up the shoulders. Now, if you try it with close hands close together, that might be slightly easier for you. And then try it wider. And then really start to pull backwards. Oh, sugar, hit the light. Sorry, Owen. I'm going to do a lot of damage here with this pole. There, so I'll move forward a bit. So really working through a different range of movement through the shoulders, especially as we come behind and allow that the arm to come forwards again. That's it. Okay, now we're going to go overhead. So I'm not sure how this is going to be. So we're going to go over the head one way to the centre, and then take it back over the other way. And again, try small hands close together, and then give it a try with your hands wider apart. See how it feels. So wider apart, you're actually wider apart, your arms, you don't have so much rotation through the shoulder. If your hands are close together, then it's a lot of it, it's kind of a bigger movement for the shoulder. So try it both ways. If it's tough together, take it wide. And if that's too much, then just stay with a figure of 8 in front of you. So this one might get you quite warm because we're working with our arms overhead, which is working your heart more. It's all good stuff. Lovely. And take a rest out. Excellent. So we're going to work our way down to the floor. But first of all, keep hold of your band. No, they're not bands, poles. So we're going to come into a little squat. So we're going to use the pole to make our way down. So we step wide. Your pole is here to balance. So we step wide, lift the toes, step wide, lift the toes. Walk your hands down if you need to. And then just come down, down. So sending those hips out and then walk back up again. So really using the pole to steady yourself, to balance yourself. So really wide feet is going to help you here, especially as you come lower. It takes the pressure off the knees and we work through the hips and the groins a little bit more. So almost into our sumo squat. Lovely, and then come back up. So walking up the pole. Still side to side. Still side to side. Let's go down one more time. And then we're going to just stay here. And I want you to send your bottom one way and hold it there. Now, stick your bottom upwards and outwards. And you should feel a stretch through the groin. And then we're going to take our weight through to the other side, transfer weight, move your pole if you need to, stick the bottom out, push the bottom upwards and outwards and feel a stretch into the groin. Lovely. Come back to the centre. We're going to walk up and then we're going to get rid of the pole, or just put the poles by your side, and then we're going to come down. I'm going to bend my knees. I'm going to flex at the hips and I'm going to take my hands down to the floor if you can. So try that if you can. And just hold for a hamstring stretch. Just hold. If you need to come down, come down. And then I'm going to walk my hands forwards. I'm going to come to my knees and I'm on the floor. Lovely. Grab a drink if you need to. We all right? Give me a thumbs up. A little bit of pole, not pole dancing. A little bit of pole work. I'm just going to grab a drink. So sit up on your bottom and keep your pole by you. So you all right, Barbara? Have you got to go? Okay, take care. Okay, so we've got our poles by us. Ooh, I'm going to sort my microphones out. And we're going to do some more work. So you know what saw is, don't you? So saw is our little twist and lean. So we're going to just adapt it. So I want you to like sort yourself out, sort your flesh out and sit upright so that we're sitting right on our sit bones, and take your feet wide. Okay, we're going to bring our hands and cross them over and hold on to your pole. And just breathe. So we're going to start with that rotation. So sit upright. So lift your chest. How do we do that? We lift the chest. So you can see the pole physically moving upwards. I seem to be a bit lopsided here. I'm not sure why. So we're going to rotate to one side. And then we're just going to bend, hinge from the hips again. So a slight hinge from the hips. It's not a round of the spine. You should feel a stretch through the leg. Lift up. Take the weight back onto both sit bones. So what I felt then was, as I rotated, we're trying to keep both sit bones on the floor, but as you bend forward, you feel the weight transfers onto that side, and that's okay. I just don't want that other cheek to lift, if you know what I mean. So relax the thighs here. Come back up to, not standing, is it? Center, and then rotate. So you're not going to get very much movement here, but that's fine. So really focus on pushing the other bum cheek back and down, hinging from the hip, sending the chest towards the toes without rounding through the spine. So eye gaze is towards the toes, and try to get a little further, and then sit upright again. Reset and rotate and lean. So it's a lean, lean, lean. Nice long spine, eye gaze to the toes. Oh, somebody's ringing me. Sorry, I can't get it. And then come up to the center. Lovely. So we're going to take our hands wide this time. So take your hands to the sides, to the edges, and same again. So rotate, lean. This time I want you to send that pole towards your toes. So push the pole out towards the toes. As you rise, the pole comes to the chest. Settle in the center, rotate. Lean, send the pole out to the toes. So the center of the pole is to the toes. Come back up to center, reset, and onto your sit bones. And again. So lean, push the pole out. Come back up, and one more, and then we're going to slightly change it. So lean in, lean in, lean in, push, 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 good, and come up. This time, same kind of movement, so we're going to rotate. This time, the hand is going to come to the outside edge of the foot. Okay, so send the pole towards the foot, and then take it to, that's it, lovely. Are you okay, Chris? If this is too much, just a small movement, great. And then send. So it's a reach and a lean. So it's not quite a saw, but it's almost a saw. So really think about that long spine, reaching that hand to the outside of the foot. So push that pole towards the outside, and we're using the other one to support the hand. Whereas sometimes in saw, that hand behind you is kind of dangling. So we've got some support, so pushing. And for those with shoulder niggles, it's quite nice on that shoulder because you've got something to just rest the hand on. So push, push away, lovely. And push, push away, good, lovely. And then rest it there. So bring your feet together, and then I want you to, so some more spine work here. Sit right up, so you're upright. And we're going to just hold the pole on the outside edges of your legs. And we're literally going to slide the pole down, 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 push away, can it slide up the toes, and then pulling it back, 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 up the shins to the knees, and sit upright. So a spine stretch, but also a hamstring stretch, back of knees, push, push away, and into the shoulder blades if you can push and get to the top of your toes. If you can't, don't worry. Chris, if this is too much flexion for you, just literally here and back, okay? So push forwards, 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 push those poles up over the toes. Can you get them over your toes? Keep breathing. Nearly, Pauline. Push, push, push. Over, lovely. Good, and then come back. Excellent. Okay, we're going to keep hold of the poles. We're going to roll down now. So take your time and come down. So we're going to roll down, keep hold of that pole and roll down. Bend through the knees, feet flat on the floor, and settle. So the pole is resting on your hips, on your pelvis. So we're going to bring the toes in, heels into bottom, and we're going to work through that pelvic tilt again. So starting to just gently lift the bottom, keeping the pole on the hips, and just a small movement to start with. and then lowering, releasing, and coming into the opposite pelvic tilt. So we're rocking and rolling. So spine to floor, lifting, squeezing the bottom. We're only really lifting to lower back here. So we're just working through that lovely pelvic tilt. A big squeeze at the bottom and really focusing now on the pelvic floor. So as you're lifting, you're squeezing, tightening, and as you're lowering, not releasing, but letting go a little bit. So just relaxing that tension off and just keep going. And then you can start to add a little bit of pressure through the pole. So you're pushing down on the pole with your hands, you're working through the pelvis, you're lifting, and we're going to start lifting a little bit higher now. So coming onto your shoulder blades, a little bit of resistance through the pole, lifting and lowering really slowly. And then on the next one, we're going to hold it up. So we're going to hold up into a bridge. We're going to push down on the pole and we're going to pulse. So we're going to squeeze the glutes. Squeeze. So slowly. Squeeze, release, squeeze, release, squeeze, release, squeeze. And a few more. And then we're going to roll down. Gently, one vertebrae at a time. So really super slow. Super slow. Have a little rest at the bottom and we're going to go again. So I want you to start with that pelvic tilt. So just working through, and you can notice with the pole that movement. So it just moves slightly and rocking and rolling through the pelvis, starting to squeeze the glutes as we start to lift a little bit higher. And lower, and lift a little bit higher, and lower. So working all your way right the way to the top, and then we push down, a little bit of tension through the pole, and we start to pulse. So we press and release, squeezing the bottom, squeezing those glutes together, trying not to let those knees push out too much. They want to go out, but we're going to keep them in, like you've got an elastic band around them and you're fighting. So squeeze, push those hips up a little bit higher, a little bit more, higher again. 4, 3, lovely. 2 and 1, and release down. Take that pole behind your knees and hug those knees into chest. And just have a rest for a second, not for long. Take a roll, make a circle if you need to. I quite like a circle. And then side to side. And then circle the other way. Lovely. Okay, we're going to take our legs into tabletop, keep hold of the pole and rest the pole on the knees. So we're going to work through a little bit of a crunch here. So to set up, I'll need you to kind of press the spine into the floor without kind of allowing your knees to come in a little bit more. So they will want to come in a bit more towards your chest. Keep them where they are, so you're in 1990 at your hips and your knees. Lift the shoulders, eye gaze to the ceiling, and then just slightly roll that pole up the shins. You won't get very far, maybe an inch or two, and roll back down. So lift the shoulders. It's the shoulders that are lifting, not the head really. So I want you to keep that neutral position through the neck, and it just takes that tension off the neck. So we lift and roll down, lower and roll back, still keeping those legs in tabletop. Push, roll. You'll be cursing these poles. Push and roll down. Bring it back. Push and roll down. Bring it back. This time we're going to push and hold and pulse. Push, little pulse. So you're pushing, releasing, pushing, releasing. Can we do 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring those poles to your belly, drop the knees, have a rest. So that's a little bit like the 100, isn't it, really? But not quite, because the pole should be underneath. Maybe we'll try that in a minute. Okay, so we're going to come into a single leg stretch. So I know we won't do a double because I know some of you can't. So one leg is on the floor, one foot is flat on the floor. We're going to send the other leg out. So slide it along the floor, lift up to the ceiling, drop to the floor and bring it back to the starting position. Foot on the floor, swap sides. So push that leg out, toe to ceiling, lower down, back to starting point. Push, lift, lower and drop, push, lift, lower. If you want to, if you've got room, you could send your pole away, lift it up, send it back to centre. So if you've got room, if not, you could just do it without. I'm going to drop mine because I'm going to knock the tree over. So arms go overhead, push up, reach to the toes, push back, settle in the centre, overhead, reach, come back to centre. Keep going. If you wanted to go into a double leg stretch, you can, but you don't have to. So reach, so you're in a full body stretch, reach up and a crunch, reach back and in, one more each side. Lovely. Okay, and seeing as we've got the poles, let's have a bit of fun, see if we can do it ourselves. Normally we have a little partner to do this. So let's have a look at how we are on our all fours. And I have got a wonky pole, honestly. Look. So we're going to come on all fours, see how we go. So I'm going to, it's hard to do it setting up. What we need is the head to touch the pole, the shoulder blades to touch the pole, and the sacrum, so the lower back, the pelvis really, to touch. So settle, see how you get on, see if you can feel it. So start with it at your head, and then it should rest on the shoulders, and then it should rest on the back of the pelvis. I'm going to watch, I'm just going to have a look at you. Oh. Have you got it, Sue? Lovely. Who's that? Oh, Chris. So yeah, so you can, that's it. So you can see that you just have to adjust, and you might need to send your hands forwards, or you might need to, yeah, because yours is kind of, Chris, yours is almost on your back, but it's kind of waggling in the air. Let me see. So Pauline, lovely. So it tells me that your shoulders are probably too high, Chris. So take your hands forwards maybe and lean into it and see if that helps. Now, oh, that's it. But just send the weight forwards if you can now, Chris. That's it, lovely, perfect. I can't see your arms, but lovely. So if you can, if you set up and if you're steady, we're going to lift one arm off. So send one arm in front of you. So slide it forwards, palm in, and then gently slide it back in. So pull those muscles in the belly in, pull them right in, and then change hands. I can't kind of do it and watch you, so let's try. So if you hear my pole clatter, then you know I've gone wrong. So slide in that hand, up and away, bringing it back into start position. So hardly moving as you shift that weight from one hand to another. One hand lifts, pushes away, so palm faces in, sliding gently and just supporting it behind the head, on the pelvis. Lovely. And then hold it there. Reset, pull the belly in. Can we do the same with the legs? So take the weight to one knee, slowly, gently lift one foot, slide it away, point the toes away, slide that leg back in, bring the knee back down to the floor, transfer weight, push those shoulders away from the ears, send the other foot away, lifting that toe, but really pushing it away to the wall behind you rather than lifting. So that pole shouldn't be shifting. It means you've got great control. Try to push evenly through the hands. Push those toes away. Bring it back in. Push the toes away. Ooh, bring it back in. And just hold. Pull the belly in. Pelvic floor. Pull in. Curl your toes under. Reset that pole if you need to. Curl the toes under. Lift the knees about an inch. About an inch. Hold. You might get the shakes. 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop down. Don't release. Reset. Reset that pole. My pole's not right. It's wobbly. It's wonky. And then we're going to lift. Curl the toes again. We're going to lift those knees, pull the belly in, pelvic floor pulls in tight, lift the knees, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop the knees, take the pole out, sit back in child's pose, push the hands away. How did you get on? Did you do it? Kind of. I couldn't watch you because I was trying to do it as well. Push the hands away. Well done. Okay, a little stretch coming up. So I want you to take your left hand right out to the side, to the left side. Push it away. Sit back into your heels. Take the right hand, put it on top of the left hand and sink the armpits down towards the floor. Breathe. Rest. Breathe. Come back to centre. Take the right hand out to the side, to the wide and in front of you. Push the fingers away. Take the left hand and pop it onto the right hand. Drop the shoulder blade, drop the armpits down towards the floor. Adjust if you need to. If one arm won't go there, then just tuck it in. Tuck the elbow in and don't stretch that side. Back to centre and back to child's pose. Lovely. How are we doing? Okay. Come onto your backs. And we're going to stretch out those legs. So we're going to bring one heel up towards the bottom. So bring the left heel up to the bottom. Take the right foot, right ankle, onto the left knee. Flex that foot and just send that knee. So push the right knee down so you get a big stretch through the hip. If you've got good range of mobility in your hips, you can lift that knee. Ow. hold on behind the thigh, pull it towards you. You don't have to. And then lower that foot. Take your arms wide, keeping the legs as they are. We're going to drop that right foot towards the left side of the body. Chris, be careful, just hold. Chris, I would just hold in that position, in the first position, if you're able to, or just adapt it. Feel that lovely stretch into the hip, into the back of the hip, into the waist. And then bring those knees back up, swap sides. So the right foot on the floor, left ankle on the knee. Push that left knee away. Just breathe. Just enjoy the stretch. If you want a bigger stretch, just lift the knee towards your face. A lovely hip opener here. Just stretching through the hip, through the groin. And then lowering that foot to the floor, sending the arms wide, lowering the left foot towards the floor on the right side. Breathe, relax. Feel that stretch right the way into the armpit. Right the way across the diagonal plane of the body. Bring that knee up, drop the feet, take your hands overhead or settle them in a comfortable position. Send the toes out, full body stretch. Bring those arms down. Take the feet wide, bring the knees together. So feet flat on the floor, and then knees together, just resting through the hips there. And just push one hip down, away down towards where your foot would be, and release. So you'll just add in some length through the hip there. You're pushing the hip down, one side and then the other. So the knees kind of cross, they brush each other. Lovely. And then settle into a comfortable position. As we come into relaxation. So, if you need something warm, grab something warm. Otherwise, stay where you are and just breathe. Take a long, slow breath in through your nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. And reset your body. So you might need to jiggle your feet so they're comfortable. And move your shoulders. Allow your palms to just face up so the back of your hands are resting on the floor. Or some people like to put them on the belly or the chest, just so you can feel your breath. So relax a little more on each out breath. Feel the tension going on each out breath. And feel the body becoming a bit heavier with each out breath. Maybe feel the difference in the temperature of the breath from the in breath to the out breath. And we're just going to focus on some long, deep breaths. And if you can stay with me, then do. If not, don't worry. So we're going to take a breath, and I'm going to count from 10 down to 1. So we're going to breathe in for 10, for the number 10. So breathe in and out, and that's 10. Breathing in, deeply, long, slow breath. And breathe out, that's 9. Breathing in, long, slow breath. And breathing out, 7. And breathing in, 6. All the way out. Breathing in again. Breathing out for 5. Long, slow breath in. And a slow breath out for 4. Breathing in, all the way in. And all the way out for 3. Deep down, breathing out. Breathing all the way in, deep down into the lungs, allowing the belly to rise. And breathing all the way out for 2. A long, slow, last breath in. Filling the belly, filling the lungs. And breathing all the way out for 1. And making your breath more normal now. Feeling your body relaxed as those long, slow breaths allow your body to relax and recover. Just go in with that flow of breath. And then just slowly bring in some movement to your fingers, to your toes, and circling through the wrists. One way, and then the other, and then circling through the ankles. One way, and then the other. Taking a deep breath in and a sigh out. And start to make your way onto your sides or to a more upright position. And making your way up to a seated position. Taking your time here, there's no rush. Relaxing through the shoulders, sending them back and down, rolling through the shoulders. Opening your eyes, taking a breath in, a long breath out, and one more. Breathe in, open the eyes, breathe out, and give yourself a round of applause and have a little stretch if you need to. And well done.